Am I on?
Yeah, go whenever you're ready.
Excuse me. Hello, welcome to episode 110 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton. With me, as always, is Chet Ryse.
Hello. Have you gone? Oh, that's a good start. Fuck.
Hello, welcome to episode 110 of Chet and John's...
Hold on, sorry, it went... It sketched out. Could you just start again?
Son of a fuck.
Go.
Hello, welcome to episode 110 of Chet and John's Reassuringly Finite Gaming Playlist. My name's John Denton. With me, as always, Chet Ryse.
Hello.
That's the third time we've done this intro because Skype doesn't work. 2 top 10 lists. 10 being the game we played the least. I don't care. You know what it is. It's a fucking podcast. You've done this before. Let's go.
All right. Okay. My number 10 is a game called My Girl, the game, which I played on a Mac. It's a flash game on browsers, and you can find it at mygirlthegame.com. They paid money for the URL. I'm not sure why. In preparation for this, because you spoke about it last week or the week before that, I scoured YouTube to try and find the footage of the B scene from My Girl. Inevitably, someone had the B-roll. Yeah. Someone had laced the audio from that Nicolas Cage scene from The Wicker Man where he's going, bees. But it is quite tame. I mean, I think I'd heard girls at school when I was very, very young saying, "Oh, that's the saddest thing. You know, I cried myself into hospital or whatever." And he does wave his arms around, and then his glasses drop to the ground in slow motion. I mean, it's rubbish. But anyway, the game. It's exactly what you said. You start out as Macaulay Culkin, you walk from left to right, bees start coming, and I mean, watching that clip, I was reminded that the reason he's in there in the first place is to look for a ring he lost, and in the top right corner, the ring is like your life bar because it discolours as you get stung. I wonder if you can. Do you know if you can finish it? I suppose you have no idea.
No, you just have to die, I think.
Okay, and the very low res freeze frame of the girl as she cries on the staircase at the end. Incredibly pointless. I mean, I wonder what they got the URL for, because that seems like a weird thing to spend money on for something that's like, I smiled. But that's it, All right.
Yeah. Well, another weird one then for my number 10. It's a game called... Is it a game? I guess so. It's called Sortie De Mer, French. It's journey to the sea, trip out to sea. And it's weird. It's a browser game, but it's all done in full motion video, and it's for something. I explained it briefly, but you start out. It's all shot from the first person. I guess it's done with a GoPro, and you're on a boat in the sea, and you get knocked off by the boom, and then the whole game's trying to survive in the sea, basically just by scrolling your mouse wheel upwards. And it's quite disturbing what happens. And I think it's basically just like a modern PSA about don't drown in the sea. I think that seems to be what it is. Don't fall in the sea because you'll drown, which is a fairly obvious one. But then it gives you the time for how long you lasted. I couldn't really work out whether I could have made myself last any longer or not. But if you want to play it, just Google Sortie, Sortie, De Mer, DEMER. That's 2 words, but you'll find it out. I think if you that's the URL as well, and you can play it as well and just sort of be mildly disturbed and not want to go on a boat.
Yeah, it sounds like it's meant to instill fear of water or fear of the sea. Where did you hear about this?
It was one of those ones where it tweets out someone's score, so I thought, what's that? That's something I can play, and that's exactly how I found out about it. But I didn't tweet my score. People are like score chasing on it. It's just maybe whoever did that thought it was really important that other people didn't go into the sea. I don't know.
Yeah, quite sounds quite morbid.
It is a little bit. Yeah, this is 2 games where the only way you can complete them is by dying, which has got to be some sort of first.
All right. Well, I might have a look at. Is it all in French?
But it doesn't matter, and it doesn't last very long.
Okay, I thought, but I mean, if a message comes up at the end saying "Be safe, kids, don't go in the water."
No, I actually think that might have been in English. Or might have been in both.
All right. Sounds weird. I'll check it out. Okay, my number 9 is Pro Evolution Soccer 2014 on the PlayStation 3, which is currently free on PS Plus. I downloaded it a couple of weeks ago and I tried to play it, or last week rather, and I couldn't because it said that there was a problem with my internet. Whatever. It turns out I hadn't downloaded the data pack, which
of course.
Which again, where do you download it from again? The statistics
from the
menu.
statistics menu.
Of course, naturally. It still amazes me, Pro Evo. As soon as I downloaded the patch notes, I had this. It's like a load of old emails. Like, hey, how are you from like last winter? And you have to go through all of them. Thank you for playing Pro Evo. Patch notes, maintenance notification from 3 months ago. And you're just like, Jesus, this game. They had better sort this out for the new one. Anyway. Downloading that patch or the data pack, took an unnecessary age. And also the other thing that comes up is those 32 pictures of Adidas football boots and branded balls, and you're skipping through them like, why? What is it with this game? Anyway, the game still didn't work. I kept going back to try and play online. It said check your network settings. I tried changing settings. I tried plugging an Ethernet cable in. Nothing worked. I deleted everything to do with Pro Evolution Soccer 2014 from my PlayStation. Goodbye. I kind of want to forget that game exists. It is the Battlefield 4 of the sports world, and I don't want to say it's dead. And I hope they can absolutely smash it this year. But Bez 2014, never again. Fuck off.
Likewise. I told you last week about the bug that's in the game, didn't I?
yeah, you did. Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. I've kind of given up on that. Yeah. Still high hopes for the next one. Okay, yes. My number 9 is a game that I used to play on PC when I was younger called Sumotori Dreams, which I discovered randomly was on Android. Did I ever play this with you?
No, but you told me about it. Is this the one with the... Oh, no, you did, with these, are they wrestlers?
Two sumo wrestlers made out of boxes.
That's right,
They have a basically unplayable sumo wrestling match, but then they're controlled by physics, so then they just proceed to fall over like drunk people. And... it's unbelievably hilarious. There's no point trying to describe it with words. It's just something that you need to see. When I played it with my brother when I was younger, I still think it's the funniest thing that's ever happened to me when we discovered this game, and long stretches of not being able to breathe. It's not quite as good now on the Android for some reason. It's exactly the same, but they've put this kind of comedy music behind it, and I think the thing that made it so funny last time, the physics are still the same, it's still funny to watch, but it was so funny last time because it all felt like it wasn't supposed to be happening, and you were just supposed to be playing this game, whereas obviously they cottoned onto it quite quickly and turned it into a gag. So it loses a tiny bit of its charm there, but still... it's still fucking hilarious to watch, and my little boy, unsurprisingly, loves it as well. So yeah, it was an absolute delight. I'd forgotten it existed for one, and then to see it so I can have it on my phone is perfect.
Was it free?
No, it was like a quid. It didn't matter if it was under like £4. I was going to buy it. The amount that I laughed at it first time.
I take it you can't play multiplayer, can you?
Yeah.
You just
the basically doesn't fucking work anyway. It never did. Right. It's just like, and then someone falls over, and then the hilarious things happen.
Sumotori Dreams.
Yeah, as in sumo, Tori, then dreams. I wonder if it's on iOS as well. It probably is.
Well, if it is, I'll have a look. Was the original Flash, or did it something you downloaded?
Something you downloaded. Yeah, it had its own client.
Okay.
But
all right.
Yeah, I don't even know how I discovered it or where I heard of it. I have no idea.
All right. Okay. Sumotori Dreams. I'll check it out.
Yes, my boy.
Okay, my number 8 is Battlefield 4. I didn't want to bring it up, but I've played it a lot this week, and I just thought I'd tell a very brief story which illustrates the current joy of Battlefield and the current joy of Xbox One, because the two go hand in hand together. Basically, me and a friend wanted to play Battlefield, so we joined a party together, and for some reason, the mics were picking up both of our voices, but the audio was coming through on each other's TVs. So we tried everything. We changed parties, we unplugged stuff, we tried everything, and we just thought, hey, we'll reboot our consoles. And we rebooted our consoles, and then it worked fine, completely fine. So it's one of those situations where you have to just shrug and go, hey, Xbox One, battered. Which we've been doing rather a lot of. When we got into Battlefield, the server browser not only didn't allow us to specify a map, it didn't allow us to specify a game type, and it didn't tell us how strong the connection was, so we couldn't discern which servers to avoid, which ones were sort of laggy and whatnot. So we had to jump into games using quick match and just bounce in and out until we found one that wasn't unplayably laggy. And we finally found one that wasn't unplayably laggy, and then his wife and kids came home and he had to go. But that keeps happening. I play with people who don't have a lot of leisure time, and we spend so much of our time in menus. And if your time is precious, avoid Battlefield 4. Avoid it anyway, but Christ almighty, avoid it on Xbox One. I mean, we are constantly questioning whether it's worth bothering with anymore. The problems are too numerous to mention. I reckon if every week I just read out a list of problems and things that had gone wrong with Battlefield on Xbox One, I could probably fill 45 minutes just reading the list. And then, randomly it'll work. You'll have a lag-free 64-player game of Conquest on one of those amazing new Naval Strike maps, and it's the best thing in the world. But the problem with Battlefield at the moment is you can't jump ship. Where can you go? There's no competition. If we wanted to say we're not going to play, we play Battlefield. What are we going to play instead? We can't jump ship. They've got us by the balls. That's the problem. So it's just Battlefield is just such a Battlefield on Xbox One. Pain in the arse is an understatement, but we can't stop playing it. Is Homefront 2 even still in development?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I heard Crytek were one of the because that was one of the only times where I felt that was a legitimate. But the problem is that came out when Bad Company 2 was still great, and Battlefield 3 came out, and it wasn't anywhere near as bad as this. Blah 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 blah. But I mean, I'm looking for something to come and knock the wind out of its sails, because it's just getting fucking tedious now. It really is. Although we can't stop playing it because it's amazing. Oh, batters, forget it.
I forgot it a long time ago. Okay, my number 8 is Mercenary Kings on PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah.
I had a feeling that I wasn't really going to have enough time to play this game, and I went back to it, and I just don't like. Fundamentally, I kind of admire what the game is. This kind of mix between Missile Slug and Monster Hunter. Not that I've played Monster Hunter much, but that's what everybody says that it is structurally. I like the aesthetic, I like the graphics, I like the style, I like the music, but I don't like the way the game feels, and that's a huge problem. I don't like the little delay in the jump, and it sounds like a small thing, but it's such a kind of fundamental move in a game like this that it's put me off playing the whole thing. If I'm going to play a 2D game, it needs to feel fucking banging these days, and most do that I do play, and this just doesn't have it. And I think it's a big game. It's not like something I can rattle through in. It's not like because of the structure. It's not your classic arcade, thing that you can slam through in 90 minutes once, maybe on co-op or whatnot. You've got to be putting in the hours into this game, and realistically, for a game that I'm not feeling that much of in a genre, in a style that I have played many times, albeit not in this structure, it just wasn't. It was just no, basically, no, and no time. So just written it off instead of trying to persevere with it.
Have you at any point played it on your own? Can you play it on your own?
You can play it on your own, but I've only ever played it with randoms in co-op, which is fine. I mean, everything about it is good. It's just it doesn't feel like I want it to feel. It doesn't feel like Metal Slug, which it should do, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
it's an odd one. It's a really odd design choice or design oversight. I'm not sure which.
Okay, I mean, I've heard a lot of people rave about that fucking game. I mean, it's sitting on my dashboard. I'll just have to stick it on one time.
Yeah, you might love it, but it just didn't do enough for me to put away the time that I know that it would take. Yeah. All
right. Okay, fair enough. Well, I might speak about that next week. We'll see. Yes. Okay, my number 7. I don't know if it's on your list or not. It's FIFA 14.
I mean, it's not, but yeah, we played it together, didn't we?
We did. That's what it's. I've played it a couple of other times, but it's basically off the time we played it. And yeah, I mean, I have nothing to say that we haven't already said before. Almost all of the people you play against online have worked out how to scheme the game. So you have people that consistently try and get headers off. They try and get corners so they can just knock a header in. And if you keep playing for those, if you keep trying to get corners, you're laughing because you will score sooner rather than later, definitely. I mean, we've had these conversations many times. I mean, I think they built something truly amazing with FIFA 11 and FIFA 12. I mean, FIFA 12, if I think about it, that's the one that I really, really thought was robust enough to keep you busy for an entire year. And the subsequent iterations have just kind of chipped away at what made it so good. I mean, that's the problem with the yearly updates, is that I think they need a new engine. They need to get are they doing a new FIFA? Is it going to be new, or is it just the same engine and all that?
Well, I mean, this one's supposed to be on a new engine, the Ignite engine, but I don't really see how it's that much different.
It feels like FIFA. It feels like the FIFA of old. I mean, it's still good, but yeah, it does. I mean, I do think releasing it every year is. They need to change it up or end up going backwards because I think the more they add, they're just damaging what made the earlier games so good. I mean, it's good, but it's frustrating as fucking hell.
I didn't enjoy those games at all. They were so. I mean, we talked about Provo and all its problems, but when you do get a game and it is working, it does. It's a great approximation of the drama of football. It feels like you're involved in a football match, and it's kind of a pro wrestling version of a football match, but it still has the ebb and flow of a football match. Whereas those games of FIFA were just people sprinting backwards and forwards. The ball, there wasn't anything like a football match at all. It had none of the pace and the kind of full stops and commas of a football match. It's just nonsense, really. And it can be fun, but it wasn't fun when we were playing because the people were just trying to game the system, lob through balls to Ronaldo, trying to win corners. Every single free kick you have, they're running to try and catch the ball as you're passing it, which is something they need to fix. I've literally told the guy who was in charge of FIFA, David Rutter, to his face about this problem in FIFA years ago. That someone could just run in front of your free kicks. Like, I just want to take a quick pass to one of my players so I can continue when I've been fouled. That shouldn't be something that is going to cause me to either lose possession or have to engineer some sort of scenario where I don't accidentally pass it to the opposition. It's fucking stupid. Pro Evo fixed it by you can just click a thing and move the player you're going to receive the ball to where you want him. And that is what in turn has caused the bug in the latest Pro Evo, but I'm sure that will be fixed. But just stick that in FIFA. It can't be too hard. So, and this was, I think, FIFA 10 I told him this. I'm not saying that I should just say things, but it's not like they don't know. I fucking told the guy. So, that just, it's kind of that thing. It sums up the game to me.
Yeah.
But still good in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable but frustrating. I mean, I can't remember whether this happened when we were playing, but there's this other thing that you always encounter when you play FIFA. Seemingly, every match I have, I encounter this thing, whereby you have to both skip the cutscene or the replay if there's a near miss or something. Yeah, and then what people do is they don't press it, so you instinctively, without thinking, most people just start hammering the A button, and then they press A, and then you're still hammering the A button when you're in position, and you pass it to one of their players straight away. It's a dirty trick that I've run into innumerable times, but that's just another example. It's almost as if FIFA likes having those things in there. I don't know.
And then they're watching the replays over and over and over again.
Yeah. That's just a way. That's a way of starting a fight with no repercussions. It's being a bit. I have no fucking time for people that do that. Just be decent for fuck's sake. Although, why does the game allow the replay of goals to go on for almost 30 full seconds? That's taking the piss.
I have no idea. Yeah,
it's ridiculous. But yeah.
Oh well. My number 7 is a game called Smash Hit on the phone. Again, I think this is on iOS and Android. A game that I was told about in a conversation that I was having for something to do with work. I'd never heard of it, but apparently it's quite a big game. This is it's a kind of twist on the runner. It's played from the first person. You're kind of moving through these abstract tunnels, and you have a certain supply of balls. I think you start with 25. And there are like triangular pyramids in the level, and you can chuck these silver balls at the pyramids to get 3 more balls. And then the idea is, as you're moving through, obstacles get in your way. First of all, it's like static panes of glass, and then later on it becomes more complicated structures. And you just have to throw balls to smash the stuff out of your way. But it's one, it looks really nice. 2, the physics of the balls is done very well. They have like the correct sort of parabola, I guess you call it, when you throw them. And the third thing, it's incredibly satisfying to smash the glass. That's done really nicely. So you're just chucking stuff and the glass is splitting in really satisfying ways. It's just a cool game. It really is a cool game. It's one of those games that fits perfectly on the phone. It is designed for that format. Simple, but it's nice. It's not like the levels aren't randomly generated like most games in that genre. It's all designed, and then you hit checkpoints and you can restart from the checkpoint to see how far you can get. But I like it a lot. It's a really nice game, and it's free.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was a listener recommendation because I noticed that I had this on my phone, and I intended to play it, didn't get around to it. So I think somebody actually recommended this on Twitter. I'm pretty sure. What are the microtransactions like?
I didn't even see any. I haven't seen any.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I'm sure they're in there, but it's never been mentioned.
Yeah. Who made it?
I think they're called Mediocre Games or Mediocre Game Studios or something like that, which is a bit self-deprecating, but yeah, that's their name.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll play it before next week because
yeah, it's good fun.
Okay, cool, good. All right. Okay, my number 6 is MXGP, the official motocross game on the Xbox 360.
Oh, no way.
It's on PS3 and it's also on PC. I only played the demo. There's a demo on. There's one on 360. I'm sure there's one on PSN.
I've actually played this.
You have? When?
Yeah. I played it a few weeks ago.
Did you speak about it?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I absolutely loved MX versus ATV Reflex from a few years ago, the THQ motocross game.
Yeah.
And MX versus ATV Alive, the sequel that nobody bought because it had DLC packs at launch. Although, I mean, they were never big selling games anyway, but I loved those games. This has exactly the same systems in it, in that you control the left stick controls the bike and the right stick shifts the rider's position. The structure of the game, based on the demo, is like the first Codemasters F1 game, the 2010 was it? The first one they did that wasn't on the Wii?
I think so, yeah.
2010, I'm pretty sure it was. Well, it's a combination of the pit and the paddock because you're sitting in this hut with these engineers milling around, and I assume you can interact with it in the full game. You can't hear. I assume this launched at full price, but it looks really budget. I mean, there was a really funny bit because NPCs' mouths, they don't move. So when you're gearing up to a race and you're getting on your bike, you shake hand. What do you call that handshake? The handshake that everyone does, where you don't really shake hands, you just kind of do that thing and then
like a bro shake.
Yeah, and then pat on the back.
Yeah.
One of your pit crew does that as you're on your bike, and you get the sense that they're supposed to be talking to each other, but instead they're just like their eyes and they're furiously nodding at each other. So it looks just it really made me smile. The handling of the game is completely hardcore. You can crash just by making this tiniest little movement. You have to be incredibly delicate. So it's a sim and not an arcade race. So the MX versus ATV games were arcade games essentially, although a little bit grittier and sort of harder to grasp than most. But this is a really, really difficult sim game. So I'm sure people looking for that, although the audience for these games I'm sure is relatively small, is probably going to be very happy with what they got. It doesn't look too bad in motion either. It runs smoothly, even though it's not particularly pretty. So the priorities are straight. When you've got all of those bikes whizzing past you, it's like, wow. I mean, it runs. You know what you want a game like that. You want it to run nice rather than look nice. So I don't think it was wise for them to launch it at full price, which I think they've done. But the demo seems to sort of suggest something that's quite promising. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was okay, if really, really, really difficult.
Yeah, I've actually played the final version that I got through one of my other weird things that I do for work. But it's fine. Yeah, it's definitely a sim, and it's not a sport that I know too much about. I've always enjoyed watching it more than other motorsports. I don't know why. It just seems insanely daft to even attempt to do that sport. But I guess all motorsports are like that, really. But yeah, you're exactly right. It's kind of ugly, but looks good in motion just because so much is happening. You can scale down the kind of physics when you're playing the fight. I don't know if that's in the demo, so you can make it more arcadey for yourself and less like treacherous as you're taking corners and things. But it seems to scale that quite nicely, and I don't know if it was full price. I think it might be a $29.99 job on current gen. So yeah, just slightly below full price. But I'd be interested to know what someone who really, really loves motocross thinks about the game, because to me it seems like thoroughly decent and good fun. I enjoyed what I played. I don't know. It gets to that point where you don't really know. Someone who loves motocross might come along and go, "This is fucking bollocks! You'd never do this. You'd never do this," and I would never know. But I thought it was good. I like the physics. I like the way the bikes handle. I like the mud. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I mean, I was quietly impressed with it. I don't know if I'd invest a whole lot of time in it, but yeah, I read the Eurogamer review, and it was written by someone who I don't think regularly writes for them, and he sounds like somebody for whom this is a real. I think he knows his stuff.
He does their like bike games. That chap.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah. He seemed to like it, and I agreed with a couple of things he said. So yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of the sport and you've been waiting for something decent to come out, then although MX versus ATV, those games were wicked.
Yeah, definitely. But then again, if you want a sim, that's not really. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Cool. All right. What was that? So where are we? Number 6?
That was my 6, yeah.
Yeah, my number 6 then is a game that our man Matt Murray actually recommended. I think it's called Smash Bandit Racing. I've just written Smash Bandit. It's like a lazy fucker on my list. So I'm pretty sure it's called Smash Bandit Racing. So apologies if it's not. I'll double check that. Did you play this?
No, it's one I forgot. It's on my phone. I'll play it for next week.
Okay. This is it's actually a really nice mobile game. It's kind of basically think GTA car chases, but kind of shot from sort of above, but it's still with 3D graphics. You press down on the screen to accelerate, and then kind of swoop your thumb from left to right to steer. Nice control system. And then when police cars are chasing you, take your thumb off the screen, and you can jab the police cars, and your car will do like a sort of wheelman-esque ram, a reference to a game that probably about 3 people have played. But in that game, you could kind of make your car do rams for some reason, and this works in the same way. And the idea is just basically last as long as you can before you get taken out by the cops, smashing everything in sight. And getting points for doing so, and then obviously you can go in and use those points to upgrade your car, buy new cars. It's a free game, so there are microtransactions, but they're not too aggressive. It didn't feel like one of those games that was punishing me too much for not paying, and also didn't feel like one of those games that was trying at every second to yell at me to spend money, which is rare in mobile. There's 2 games in a row that's done a good job in that respect. And it was good enough to make me think that if I was the type of person to, really play loads of mobile games, that I could quite feasibly end up spending money on this, because it's very well made. Yeah, it's a really nicely made game. It does commit one of the most mortal sins of all time, though. The main music, the first time I play it, is Detroit Rock City by Kiss. Which made me want to slice my own throat in half.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it's actually got some quite good tunes in it. It's got what they call Crystal Castles. There's a tune by them in there. Like Wolf Mother is a tune in there. So most people seem to like Kiss, so you'd probably like that as well. But yeah, they made me want to scoop my kneecaps off. But yeah, it's definitely a nice piece of work for sure.
So that's weird, having licensed music in a free game.
Yeah, I think it's by some guys called Hutch. I think they might be Australian, but I think they've maybe done some other stuff before and done very well out of it. So I think they're one of those like new big names.
Okay. All right. Well, it's on my phone again. I'll play it for next week.
Yeah, very well made.
Interesting.
Yeah, very well made game.
Nice one. What is the deal with Kiss? I think I just read that they've been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not that that's some kind of reputable institution or anything, but I'm saying, why are people hearing? Kiss are the worst band that have ever walked the earth. There's absolutely no question of it.
I often wonder. I never heard them when I was a kid. Yeah. I wonder if that's something to do with it. Like, if I saw them when I was maybe 10, and their face. No, I don't know.
Their music has no tune. Rock and Roll. Is that the song you said? Rock and Roll All Night.
No, Detroit Rock City.
Okay. Rock and Roll All Night has no tune. I want to rock and roll all night and party every day. That's the song. I just did it more tunefully than they did. I don't understand. Anyway, this is not a music podcast, but anyway, Kiss are fucking awful. Okay, my number 5 is probably on your list as well. It's Titanfall.
It is, yeah. It's slightly higher on my list, yeah.
Okay, I mean, I didn't. Again, like Battlefield, I didn't want to bring this up because we've spoken about it to death.
Yeah.
But I have played way too much of it to not mention it. It's so good. I mean, it really is so good. It's I still think it's absolutely. I think it's a classic, to be honest. I mean, we've said this before. I'm sure I'm repeating myself. And the peerless stability of it shames Battlefield into the fucking last century where it belongs. The fact that it works as absolute, it just fucking works. The thing. A friend of mine has bailed on it, and he said he's already bored. But he's not someone we play with. He's been playing on his own, and he's only played like 4 or 5 sessions or so. But he was just like, I'm done. I have no interest in this. But I've said, come and play with us and see if your opinion is different. Which I'm sure. Well, I tried playing earlier on this evening on my own. I was like, this is just not really very entertaining at all. You need to play it with people.
Yeah, I enjoy playing on my own, playing attrition. I still have fun doing that, but definitely you need to be playing with everybody. That's at least 2 other people that you know.
The annoying thing that about attrition mode, which is the mode where you can get points just by doing things, just performing tasks and killing the AI enemies. So whenever I join a game, I played a game on my own a few days ago, and people don't seem to know that that's the. I had like almost like 3/4 of the entirety of the points because people were just killing other pilots. But so I don't know if it's translated, it's exactly what the goals are in attrition particularly well, because most people don't seem to understand it. But yeah, I'll let you know if I'm going to try and get him involved because it seems weird that he was so anti it. But another thing that I've said to people, because maybe I mean at the end of the day, every Call of Duty that comes out every year is fucked by this period. A month after release, it's just rife with hackers, and maybe that's happening here too. But I've not noticed anything. And there's no exploits in the game. There's no weapons that feel bad. Again, I'm repeating myself. I'm sure I said this at the time, but it feels like it was play tested and it was ready when it was ready, and that's what we've got here. It just feels. Yeah, I just love it. I think it's almost perfect.
Yeah, again, I don't really have anything more to add. I keep trying to think of things to say that I haven't said already about the game, and kind of failing to do so. But I have to say, every time that I do manage to get on for a session, I feel like I learn more about the maps, and just whether it be a zip line that I'd not seen before, or just a different nuance or a different way of getting across the buildings, or something like that. And because there's quite a lot of maps, you don't always play the same ones that much, so you kind of have time. And the way they scale for all the way down to an attrition match, all the way up to 12 Titans on the field with the last Titan standing is really impressive, the way they're designed. And yeah, it's just it's fucking awesome, really. I want to hear from somebody. If you're out there playing the 360 version, please do drop us a tweet. So I kind of want to know how that's holding up, because I watched the videos.
Martin Holden was doing it, and he said it's just absolutely If you're holding off getting on 360 because you think it's too much of a step down, it really doesn't seem to be at all. I mean, I think you can get damn near the full experience on 360.
Sweet.
So if you're for some reason holding off, I wouldn't just play the game.
Definitely play the game.
I'm hooked on this horrible achievement. You're not going to go for this one?
No. There's time.
Yeah, there's an achievement for unlocking everything, every like add-on of every weapon for Titans and pilots. And it's just like having the worst itch. I wish I never started doing it, but now, because as soon as you prestige, which I've been ready to do for ages, you go back to square one.
Yeah.
And I'm just having to go and use that bloody lock-on pistol, whatever it's called, to kill spectres, and sometimes there aren't spectres in the map. I don't know, it's just a pain in the neck. I wish I never started doing it, but Titanfall's a maze. Pure amaze balls.
Yeah, I'm not going to be fucking about that achievement. Waste of time.
I'm an idiot.
All right, my number 5 then is Ryse on the Xbox One, which I finally got around to sticking on, and played the first couple of levs. Exactly as you said, really good lunk-headed fun. I like the way it looks. It was nice and shouty. I liked shouting at the screen to call archers and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the combat was fairly simple, but it was fine. I guess my only disappointment is that everything felt a little bit light. I remember playing Shadows of Rome, I think it was called, the old Capcom Roman hack 'em up, and everything felt really lunky and weighty and heavy. And obviously, if you're talking about kind of sword combat, you have to talk about Dark Souls. There's not a lot of combos going on in that game, but everything just has a real weight to it. And I kind of wish that Ryse felt a little bit chunkier. The fact you kind of instantly go into that roll move, you kind of cancel into that roll, just felt a little bit weird. I like games that are kind of deliberately weighty, like the first Gears, Killzone 2. I really like the way that game was. You felt really heavy. That's my only thing that is slightly disappointing, but it's fucking violent, isn't it? Sticking swords right up through, stick a sword up a guy's arse. Fantastic. I'm an idiot. Anybody knows me knows that I'm quite a friendly, nice person, but I do like extreme violence and fighting a lot, probably more than anything. So I always knew I was going to like this. I'm sure I'm going to play through it, just fucking Romans saying stuff and stabbing them all up, right up. I'm in. The what do you call them? The skill tree menu is incredibly confusing. It's like level up now. No, it tells you to level up straight away, and there's all these options that make absolutely no sense because there's perks. And I was like, I don't know why I've got all this gold. I don't know. So I'll go back. That'll probably make more sense later on.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you look at it for long enough. It's really straightforward. Have you got the slow motion thing yet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you have a slow motion attack where you stomp the ground and then just go and fucking dice everyone up. Just level that perk up first because that's one of the best ones to have. And you can also have alternate to that. You can have one where you sort of buff your health every time you get sort of kills on people. It's really it's very simple, but it's effective. Yeah, it's a really dumb and simple game, but yeah, I do like it.
Yeah, I'll be rattling through it, I'm sure.
Good. Okay. All right. Well, okay. My number 4 is Trials HD on the Xbox 360. Not Fusion or Evolution, but Trials HD. I don't know why I picked HD over the other two, or why I picked it over Evolution, certainly. But I did, after playing the Fusion demo, I did get an itch. So I went back and played it. And I basically hated the experience. I mean, the game...
Really?
First of all, primarily the game's history now. It was a brief obsession for almost everyone I know, and it's history now. The game, but I jumped back in and I had my old saves, obviously, and the tracks that I hadn't done. I started on I started trying to do the first tracks where I'd stopped previously.
Yeah,
and they were so difficult to me that they were just stupid. What you're doing when you play Trials is you're memorising a marathon of very specific inputs and button presses, and if you lean a fraction too far, 1 fraction of a second too late, you lose all the momentum. I mean, the game made me feel slightly sick. And almost all of the tracks that I had open, like that I hadn't yet done, involved trying to get up straight up a vertical space, climb up a wall. Essentially, I was like, I don't know. It made me honestly feel quite nauseous. I mean, maybe it's our own fault because we binged on those first 2 games, something chronic. We played them for months, like almost non-stop. I can see the appeal. Can I? I don't even know if I can see the appeal anymore. Not as someone who wants to try and make an attempt to play every game that comes out. So because this is a game that demands hours and hours and hours. But without the ongoing competitive element, friends on the leaderboards and stuff, I had no interest. I did about 4 tracks, and each one put me in a position, got me to a point where I had to do 30 plus restarts or so, and I was just like, I'm just I will happily call Evolution, especially, a masterpiece, but I can't play them anymore. They just make me feel quite ill.
I'll talk about the new one a little bit later, but I kind of developed a bit more of a zen-like patience towards the restarts thing. I've done a couple on the new one where I've done over 150 restarts on both of them. It just didn't really bother me for some reason. Okay. But it used to on the old ones. They used to drive me mad, but I just kind of did it.
Yeah, I wasn't driven mad. I was just it just made me feel ill. Did you realise there was a track editor in the first one?
Yeah, it was quite a robust one as well.
I completely forgot because you can only share tracks with friends. I think that's why.
Okay.
But I realised that one of my friends had done a track like 2000 and whatever, whenever this game came out. So I played it. I was like, I said, hey, nice track. And he was just like, what? I don't remember that. That was like 2 lifetimes ago. But yeah.
Funny.
Trials. I don't know if I'll even ever play Trials again, ever.
Or even a new one.
Oh, I don't know. Friends are buying it bit by bit. They're all buckling, so maybe. I don't know.
It feels much nicer on the new pad. I'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, my number 4 then is Infamous Second Son. Finished it on PlayStation 3. No, PlayStation 4. I finished it. A very short game. Very, very short game, which is kind of what I wanted, to be honest, before it started to outstay its welcome. Very simple game, really. It looks lovely, feels nice. Combat is just way too scrappy. Way too, the enemies are too accurate. And it's just a game about you spamming them with kind of underpowered attacks, them spamming you with underpowered attacks, you kind of running away and sprinting away and coming back. It feels like with a bit more time, some adjustments and a few sliders here and there, I don't know how it all works, but it feels like the combat could have been really good, but it just didn't ever quite get there. The last boss is a bit of a pain in the dick, although it looks amazing, truly amazing, the last boss. And yeah, just kind of by the end of it, I thought that was fine. That was just a fine time in a nice looking game that felt nice on the pad. Inoffensive. I still think it's a game that the PlayStation needed at that time. I would have liked it to have been a classic, but it was just a real sort of 7 out of 10. Kind of did the business. It's kind of just one of those games that's just gonna. I've done it now. It's kind of been a small period of my life. I doubt I'll ever think about it again now it's done, but didn't really have a bad time when I was there, apart from a couple of annoying bits, and it looked really nice. It's hard to really to say anything intelligent about it, really, beyond that.
Yeah. Well, it's higher on my list, so fuck it, I'll just do it now. Yeah, I got to a point which is in I think the final quarter of the game or thereabouts, where I just said I'm going to bail now because my feelings about the game are still relatively positive, and I have a feeling that the game's going to piss me off something chronic, so I'm going to stop. I think I'm approaching the end. I just got the TV powers, the television powers.
Yeah, you're only 90 minutes or so from the end.
Yeah, I thought I'm happy to leave it there. The game is a visual spectacular. I mean, it's one of the best looking games I've ever seen. And that new photo mode, have you seen what people have been doing?
Yeah, amazing.
Incredible. I mean, I in a way, I'd kind of like to sort of spend a bit of time trying to take some amazing photos, because some of the pictures I've seen online are amazing. The game started for me absolutely terribly. I can't remember a game starting this badly. As soon as it started, it asked you to sort of shimmy along highlighted ledges, Uncharted. So I was like, no, please. And the main character is not. When they introduce him, and he's a misunderstood teenager with like denim and tattoos, and I just thought the people who've created this character do not understand the difference between cocky and cunty, because I've never known a character to be. I was just like, what a fucking Wazzock, so unlikable. I was like, I don't care. I hope this guy falls down some stairs and breaks his neck or something, because I hate him. And his brother's a policeman, and I was just like, and inorganic touchpad fuckery. I was just like, no way. And the cutscenes are way too long. The AI is rubbish. The world is really interesting, and it's, like you said, the combat is it's really rigid. And you can't transition between enemies very fluidly, and you never really feel at one with the environment either. I mean, having played obviously recently Titanfall, in Titanfall you feel like you're tap dancing around that world, and here there's just kind of a stiffness to the way you interact with buildings and stuff. It doesn't feel anywhere near as good as, for example, Saints Row 4, which also allows you to run up buildings. And a lot of it is just really, really old hat. There's a couple of missions where you have to chase NPCs, like follow me, and the mission is and you outrun them. I was like, are we still here? Yeah. Are we still playing games where I'm stopping to wait for this character to lead me in the right direction? And there's that bit where you're trying to find objects. I mean, the problem with the game is that a lot of it is just go here, go there.
Yeah, that's basically the whole game.
There. The entire game. And there's that bit where you're tracking a sound or something on this device to try and find out where to go. And the rooftops can be too low, so you can't get a signal. But if you just tap the jump button at the right moment, you can break it and just... And it's just fetch quests, and the enemy AI is really feeble. The point where I got to after I got the TV powers, I found those teleporting rock guys. They pin you to the ground with rocks and then run off, and I'm out. They're too boring to fight. And I did a fight in a park. The exact moment I switched off was when I saw those, and there was a fight in a big park, but they just threw so many enemies at me that I just couldn't see where I was being hit from. So I had to just run around in circles and wait for my... to not be near death again and then continue. It was just sort of tedious. I mean, I thought it was better before that point, because that's where I just thought, I'm going to bow out now. And I sound like I hate the game, but I did actually quite enjoy it. Well, I say I quite enjoy it. I mean, the stuff about the morals, picking right and wrong. The cutscenes. This is one of those games where, like so many action games like this, like so many big games, you feel like the story was written at gunpoint. I don't believe that anybody wanted to tell this story or has anything invested in any of the characters. They threw a load of shit at the wall and they don't care. I mean, there was a reasonably effective cutscene in it. I hope this isn't a spoiler, but there's a female character in the game who's basically a serial killer. She's going around killing drug dealers, and you have to decide whether you're going to help her or screw her over. And I decided to help her. And there was a cutscene where I was arguing with my brother, the policeman, about the drug dealing woman. It was really quite heavy and reasonably well done. I don't know if you saw that cutscene yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and he was just like, the second she kills someone's father, or there was a really decent conversation, and then that cutscene ended, and then it was back into the game, and you were talking on your traditional video game invisible earpiece to your brother, and you said, "Are you being pouty Reggie again?" And he just said, "No, I just think you shouldn't have been so nice to that girl." I was like, what's the point? Everything's life or death in the cutscenes, and then no one gives a shit about it, and everyone's just affable. Well, hey, I shouldn't have been so... Are you being pouting Reggie? A policeman's supposed to have just helped his brother harbour this murderer, And it's just like, honestly, nobody cares about this stuff. I just wish there was no story. And then Archibald or fucking, what the fuck was his name? The fucking nerd, like Tarquin or whatever. Eugene. He just suddenly starts talking in your ear, and you're like, "Who are you?" No, oh, I'm just like some guy. And it's like, "Oh, that's the story then. Is it some guy just appeared in your ear, and now you're starting to perform all this stuff here?" And you're just like, "Why am I doing this? Stop trying to tell me a story. No one cares." But the game is absolutely sumptuous to look at, and it is fun enough. I mean, if you're a kid and this is your first sandbox, your first console, you will love it, and you will do everything that there is to do, and you'll be dead wrong. Go to bed, you little shit. But seriously, no, this is. Some of it was really stylish as well. I mean, there was when that dynamic rock music comes on in some of the action scenes, like just sort of guitar music. I mean, I felt like I was in some cheesy as hell 90s teen action romp or something. And in many ways, that's exactly what I was in. This is, I think the thing that's most influenced the way this game is sort of like American, slightly mild teen. I'm trying to think of the exact show I'm thinking of, but stuff that would be on like at 8 p.m. on Channel 4, maybe. Something that's just about and it's acceptable enough for kids, but it's ever so slightly edgy. I mean, this is far edgy because this is, there's all sorts of other stuff going there, but just the tone of it is quite... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's okay. I just... A part of me really... There's so much wrong with it, and it's not a great game. I mean, like you said, the PS4 needed a game. I think that's part of what it was. I just was so happy to be playing something that good looking. I like the PlayStation 4. I like the fact that it was on. I thought, but there is so much wrong with it. It feels like a launch game through and through. I mean, that it's too thrown together and fucking go here, go there, hey, go there, go here, hey, no one cares, whatever. I don't know. I mean,
have you done one of those bits where you clear out a bit of the city, then you do the final battle to clear that bit out?
I don't remember.
You get down like the control of the area down to about 30%, and then you can do this mission to like clear the rest of it out. And it builds it up like it's going to be this big thing. And this helicopter comes flying towards you, and you shoot it in 2 shots, and it's like, all right, done. On to the next bit.
God, Jesus.
Which is fine. I didn't want a big fight. I was like, sweet, right? But yeah, it's a strange old game.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, stuff's been written quite a lot of stuff in the last month or so about the attitude towards drugs, which is really weird because this game is such a mess that's got to just be accidental. I don't believe that there's some neocon nutcase sitting at writing this. Yeah, anyway, I mean, it's just I kind of feel guilty about enjoying it as much as I did, but it was. I mean, sections of it were truly entertaining, but. I went on Metacritic to just have a look what people have said, and there are a couple of like 100 like this game will change you. It's amazing. I'm just like, Christ, just fuck. I wanted to love it as much as anyone, but there has to come a time where you just have to say 40% of it is horse shit. At least, maybe more.
It is. I was glad it was only 6 hours long, but I still like it though.
Yes, I mean, I have fond. I walked away with fond-ish memories of it. So, but I kind of, if you're umming about it, I'd wait for a discount. To be honest.
Yeah, probably. Probably. So yeah, that was my number 4.
Okay, my number 4 was Trials. Okay, so my number 3 is. My number 3 is EA Sports presents the 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil, EA Sports FIFA World 2014. You spoke about it last week. I've been playing it rather a lot over the last week or so. It's definitely faster, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, one thing I've noticed a lot is that it's so much easier to get blocks and interceptions in. I've been playing. I tend to play quite a defensive game, and in FIFA 14. Balls just whiz past you and you just stand there wondering what the hell happened. I'm doing some really amazing blocks, and it happens less than you'd like, but the problem with headers off corners in FIFA 14 is that your guys just stand there waiting for it to happen. And here I've done a couple of I've got guys on the goal line and just done some amazing sort of saves instead of sort of doing my keeper a favour. But I think that's an aspect of it that I really do like. It's difficult. I think if you own FIFA 14, it's a bit more hard to recommend. I mean, I really like this because I don't like football at all unless there's some kind of tournament like the World Cup. So I love all of the trimmings that come with it. If you own FIFA 14, there's not quite enough that's new. I mean, there are a couple of modifications on the pitch, but and I'd say, having played probably about 10 online games, in terms of the netcode and the general way the game flows, I prefer it to FIFA 14 at this stage. I'll play it a bit more, but I'm really liking the way it feels. And some of the presentation looks like TV, not the actual in-game stuff, but the sort of menus and stuff. It seems like... Do you remember that Olympics game from... which year was it? I think it's 20... the last big Olympics game.
Maybe? I can't remember. No,
but I don't think they did, but at the time I thought that they'd somehow spoken with the BBC or something, and they'd organised to use all their graphics and stuff, because the presentation on this game looks really, really good. I like the drills that you weren't so keen on, those little mini games that you do.
No, they were fine. I just couldn't be bothered to do them.
Yeah, it's weird to make them mandatory, but then I suppose it makes things a little more interesting, because if you screw them up, they affect your player stats of individual players. So you pick who to do the tests and whatnot. But also, you can excel with them. Also, I like the story of qualifying mode. It's those challenge scenarios that they first came out in earlier FIFA games, where you kind of rewrite history by jumping in, usually in the second half, normally in the last 5 minutes, and you have to complete objectives to try and sort of change the course of history during the qualifying period of the World Cup. And that's really cool. I mean, I really like those. They're almost like mini games where you play the game for very, very small moments. I don't love football games on single player. That's another issue for me. I mean, I'm not sure I could recommend it, because I play online and that's pretty much it. Because I don't really understand why you'd want to play against AI. I've never understood. And the AI in this, I keep switching between the top two tiers, and one of them was too easy and one of them was just too hard. So there was one instance where I was defending against... Who's that Liverpool player that bit someone's nose off or something? Suarez, right. And he was just dancing around me. Like, for about 30 seconds, I'm like, I'm trying to play a game here. Like, I mean, congratulations, AI, you've done your homework and you've practiced. But I'm just running up and down the goal, and he's just playing with the ball. And so why? So I don't understand that. But if you're unlike me and you love the tournament sort of atmosphere, which this does a great job of conveying, and you tend to play the single player as much as the multiplayer, I'd say it's recommended. I mean, it's just about good enough to justify its own existence, but. It's not a masterpiece or anything, although I will be playing it until the actual World Cup's over, at least.
All right. Yeah, I pretty much agree with all that.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable, but it's not quite... I mean, it's not a must-buy for anyone. It's not a must-buy for anyone, really.
No, yeah, I could barely discern the differences on the pitch between that and FIFA 14 old gen. But yeah,
they're very... It's minor differences, but I like the fact that you can block and intercept quite a lot easier now.
Yeah, cool. All right, my number 3 is Titanfall, actually, which we've kind of done. I think I'll try and not mention that until the map packs come out now. But yeah, fucking tights.
When is the map pack coming out?
A few weeks. Don't know exactly. Okay. May sometime.
Good. Can't wait. My number 2 is Infamous Second Son.
Oh, well, rattling through it. Okay, my number 2 is Trials Fusion. Sorry, I blanked on the name there. Been playing some more, trying to do a bit more of the single player. I think on every single Trials game, I've just got to a point where I've just gone, yeah, that's enough, and just given up and been absolutely fine with it. So I spent most of my time on Trials this time playing the created levels, which when I first put it on, which is the day it came out, were feeble, but that's fine because it was the day it came out. And now when I put it on the other day, there was already thousands on there, and some of them are already amazing. There was one, it's called on Xbox One, called Phantasm. It's absolutely incredible. It's the stuff flying into the screen as you do it, and the whole scenery of the environment shifting around you as you go through, and things dropping down, and absolutely incredible, amazing level. Loads of other decent ones as well. Some fun skill games where you have to go down a hill and then fly through bail off your bike and jump through a tiny hole in the distance. That was quite good fun, and some other stuff involving playing basketball and things, which is cool. But yeah, that one level really blew my mind. And there's been some other really good solid levels. One called Tomb Raider, which was really nice, like a tomb's crumbling around you as you're going through it, easily as good as the stuff in the main game. So now this was a few days ago, so I could probably put it on again. It'd be a ton more. So that's where the real meat of the game's going to be, I think. it's going to be fun when you can start like recommending those to people and saving out as favourites, and Red Links get involved and start pulling out the best tracks and things like that as well. So yeah, that's where the future of the game is, definitely. I think I will maybe try and continue and get to the last batch of levels in single player, but I won't kill myself if I don't manage to get there. And I would definitely like to play some multiplayer, but God knows when that's going to appear. I've seen some of my friends have smashed through a lot of my times on the early levels, so hopefully we can find like 1 or 2 tracks that we consolidate on and compete on, so that's always fun. But yeah, I think it's really going to be about Track Central, as they call it this time. We're just completely integrated into the game in a much more organic way than it was in the previous games. Also, if you get this game, turn off the music and turn off the announcer and turn off the AI, this stupid AI voice that talks to you throughout the single player, which is fucking shit. So turn all that stuff off and it's way better.
Okay, I mean, it's inevitably I'm going to pick it up because, like I said, the friends of ours that said they weren't going to buy it one by one gradually succumbing. So I'll play it. I mean, some people. The thing about the music and trolls, and if you look when I found the "Welcome to the Future" song on YouTube, there are loads of people who are just like, "This is what I'm talking about. Nobody does music better than trolls." So
what?
I mean, there's loads of people. People thought that the music in the last one was amazing, and they like all of that shit. I don't know.
That song makes Kiss sound good. It's one of the worst songs I've ever heard in my life.
I've only heard the beginning. I've skipped past it.
It just sounds like someone just rolling ball bearings down a metal tube. It's just fucking horrendous.
Okay. Do you know if there's any kind of cross compatibility between the Xbox One and the 360? Or
I believe
probably
not.
That's a shame. They might do what Rockstar have done with the created maps on GTA, and like they'll pick 10 every month and make them all cross-platform. That'd be good if they did that, because
it would be. I wonder if they can, but yeah.
They should. Well, I mean, if Rockstar can do it, sure. I mean, if they can do things on that sort of big scale, surely the trolls. I mean, surely they can. I mean, even PS4.
But it might just be something. It might be because they're built the Rockstar stuff. I guess I don't know. Why would I know? I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe that can happen.
Why would I know? Well, it would be a shame if like the greatest level of all time gets made by someone on PlayStation and everyone on Xbox can't play it, which, it'd be a shame. But I'll speak about it in the coming weeks, I hope, begrudgingly, God damn it.
Yeah, it does feel nice on that pad, on the Xbox One pad with the rumble triggers. Yeah. Really, really, I mean, that really is, and the sticks are so much nicer for the incremental small movements. It definitely feels like I couldn't go back now. Definitely could go back. Oh, that music, I can hear it in my head. Yeah, that was my sorry.
No, go on. That was your number 2.
Yeah, but I don't know why I said that.
Okay, so can you? I'm completely. I have no clue. This might be something that hasn't existed for an age. Can you do custom soundtracks?
Yes.
Can you still put music on your hard drive on the Xbox One? I don't even know.
I don't know either. I don't know. I think I've heard people doing custom soundtracks on the PS4 version, maybe using the PS4 Music Unlimited app. I don't know if there's an Xbox equivalent to that. I think there is, so I think you can do it like that. Or is there Spotify on Xbox One? I don't know, but
I think there was a patch on 360 which stopped you being able to rip CDs or something, so you had to put them on a hard drive or from I don't know. I don't even know why I'm talking about this. I'm out of my depth. I don't even. But that was your number 2, right?
Yeah, for real.
For real. Okay, my number 1 is Mario Golf World Tour on the Nintendo 3DS. I've played this to absolute death this week. There's been a little bit of a stink in the press because this is one of the first games. I think it is the first Nintendo game to have a season pass released alongside it. Because there's DLC available at launch and upcoming also. I mean, as people have been as Nintendo, I should say, have been very, very keen to point out, there is as much content as you've got in any of the previous Mario Golf games in this one in the box, so you're not obliged to shell out for that. And to be honest, I didn't find any problems with it. I think there's more than enough content on the cartridge. But as far as I can tell, it's launching at everywhere I've looked to try and buy it, to see what it costs. The pricing seems to be around £26-27 or so, and I think the season pass is £10.
Okay.
So you're paying. I might be wrong about all of this. I should have googled this before I checked, but this is what's on the shithouse roller coaster that is my brain. You're paying £37 for the game, and a fair old whack of DLC, which doesn't seem like too bad a deal. That's not, the RRP of most Nintendo games is 35 quid anyway, so I don't think it's actually that bad a deal. But anyway, regardless of what you pay for it, the content on the cartridge is absolutely what you'd expect from a golf game like this. Basically, it's about as good as a game like this can be on the course. I mean, there's this single-player mode in this version called Castle Club, and it's the most superfluous thing. I mean, the hub world involves you running around, and you just have you have to sort of walk around it blind, and then you learn where people are. You learn where the little mushroom is, or toad, where you go and sign up to the different tournaments and stuff, and you learn where you can go to these. And you once you know where everything is, you're just running from A to B to go and do things, and it just becomes really, really annoying. And you have these really inane but very charming sort of golf-related sound bites from like Shy Guys and Goombas wandering around. They can't actually go, "Oh, what's your handicap?" And all that stuff. But they give you facts about golf. And in the menus, there is a glossary, the most extensive glossary I've ever seen. Pages and pages and pages of very, very matter-of-fact, really, really nicely delivered information about golf. So if you're a young kid and you're actually sort of interested in golf, this is because games like this demand prior knowledge, and this is coming from someone who has tried an untold number of times to try and understand Madden. The fact that it gives you all of this information, all of the information you need. If you're a young kid and you're interested in golf, you can come out of that borderline an expert, and I really like that. I like the fact that it's actually trying to nurture an enthusiasm for a sport rather than just assuming that you know everything. And it's pretty extensive, the game. I mean, the main modes, there's like every time you try and do one thing, if you just want a quick game, you can have it in like several. I think there's 4 different sort of gameplay settings just for normal play. You can have you can play based on lowest stroke count or individual holes, or you can play something called. There's all these different gameplay modes, and this is the thing. It's split in half. There's a normal golf game on the one hand, and then there's a sort of Mario'd up version where you can have power ups and stuff like that. But it doesn't screw the game up. They're very, very minor, and they're very, very sort of very. It never becomes like what was is it the last Mario Tennis?
I never played it. Yeah.
Well, I mean. That was not a tennis game. They went too far in the other direction. Whereas this, they keep it quite right. And the actual gameplay itself, some of it is brilliantly subtle. I mean, the grid. Whenever you get on the green in a golf game, a grid will come up. The way this has been designed is so subtle, and at first very frustrating because there's lines all the way across the grid, obviously, and they have little droplets on them, and they move at different speeds, and they're color coded as well. So the depth and sort of contours of the land are so specific. I mean, like at first you're like that. I just want to see blue and red, and I just want to see where's low and where's high, and like in every other golf game. But those droplets move at different speeds, and also it's really after you've done maybe 100 holes, and you're nailing 20 meter putts. I did not stop punching the fucking air because it's funny that golf games have not really changed. I mean, since the first golf on the NES 30 years ago, the golf games are still the same, and they're still gripping. When they're good, it's amazing how tense and enjoyable they can be. I mean, I really love motion control golf on the Wii, and was there golf in Sports Champions? I can't remember.
I don't think there was. No, I don't think there was.
I can't remember, but I mean, it's the fact that. That there are motion control options available. The fact that this format, this sort of create your own QuickTime event format where you're nailing that bar going up and down, it's amazing how entertaining it can still be. And I played online. I've been playing online I had to update my review, so I played online shitloads all of this morning. And it's okay. I mean, they're asynchronous tournaments where the problem is that there's no scoring system, so the leaderboards, you're on a par regardless of what you got with like 500 other people. So I don't know. You'd like to have a more detailed leaderboard, and Nintendo's own contribution because they're updated tournaments all the time. Nintendo's contributions are kind of they're okay. There are so many variables, and they allow you to tinker because you can create your own tournaments and you can have them private or you can have them public. There are so many variables. You can tinker with the wind, add power ups as many or as few as you want, however many holes you want, etc., etc. I'm sure the community are going to start creating some really cool things. I mean, you can't change the courses, obviously, but I reckon some really cool modifications are going to be made. So yeah, it's the online side of things adequate. just because I mean I think the problem that I had was that there are modes where you can play in real time against people, but that wasn't. It's because it's not out until next week. I don't think that was live yet. But the asynchronous thing's fine. It's good. The game, I just think the game's pretty much excellent. It really won me round. I was just like, another golf game, another this, another that. It looks nice, feels nice. There are a couple of laughs in there. It's good. I really liked it rather a lot, actually.
Yeah, I quite fancy a round of golf these days. Not in real life, but yeah, I haven't played any video game golf for ages. And Tiger got a bit stale. Well, very stale. Super stale. But yeah, everybody's golf is coming to PS Plus in May, I think, on Vita. So that's supposed to be really good as well.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I mean, they're very much the same thing. These two things, but when a game like this is well made, it is surprising how gripping it can be.
Absolutely.
So I genuinely thought very highly of this. I have to say.
I might check that out. No, actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to play Everybody's Golf. But yeah,
wait for the Everybody's Golf.
Yeah, for sure. All right, my number one then is Batman Arkham Origins DLC. Cold Heart, which I was asked to review. I didn't really even know it came out, but it came out on the 22nd, which I believe was Tuesday this week. I actually played the PC version, but obviously it's also on 360 and PS3. Now, the Batman, as with every game, this has had a season pass, but it's been apparently awful. Some really crappy costumes, online things, and some terrible challenge rooms. But this is like a full... I was going to say standalone. It's not standalone because obviously you need the game, but full kind of separate story of a decent length. Think the Last of Us DLC, the Bioshock DLC. This is a good 3 or 4 hours long, and it tells the story of something that happens to Batman on New Year's Eve. The Batman Arkham Origins is obviously set on Christmas Eve, so a week later. He's having a kind of function at his gaff, Bruce Wayne, about some sort of other guy. Another guy's having some sort of charity thing. It's one of those things that happens in Batman. There are lots of posh people and there's money. Quickly, Mr. Freeze smashes a window and freezes everybody. I've made it sound way more underwhelming than it actually is. Like half the wall gets covered in ice and all the people get frozen. Mr. Freeze turns up. He's pissed off about something and he takes this other posh guy. I think the guy's name is Ferris Boyle, which is a good name. And and he takes him, and then the whole game's kind of about working out what the fuck's going on and trying to get him back. And it's pretty damn good, actually. It starts off in Wayne Manor. You have to go and get the Batsuit, and then you move out into the world briefly. But most of the game is set in a couple of environments that allow you to move through them in similar ways to the levels in Arkham City and the levels in sort of certain sections of Arkham Asylum. It doesn't kind of bend back on itself as well as it does in those games, but this is a much tighter experience than Arkham Origins. I do have to say that I suffered a fucking nightmare of a game progress bug about halfway through, where it stopped allowing me to grapple onto a certain section of the level, and I was sure that's what I had to do, but I trudged back through the level about 10 times trying to see if I'd missed anything, and then eventually went on YouTube to see if anybody had done a walkthrough, and someone had, and quite obviously you just go to one bit and keep going on with the level, and it just wouldn't let me reload the checkpoint. I had to start the whole thing again. Fucking nightmare. So I don't know if that was just a weird one-off for me, or if that's going to be something that plagues other people's games, because I know Origins had similar things to that. So yeah, that fucking sucked. But if I could assume somehow that hadn't happened to me, I would be quite impressed with this package, and was quite impressed with this package. The story's tight. It feels like you're reading a Batman comic, like a one-off issue of Batman, a self-contained story. It's the production values of the cutscenes and stuff are crap. It's basically mouths moving and everything else static. It looks crap, but there are a couple of rendered cutscenes which are done really well, and the environments themselves, for most DLC of single player games, you get really cheap recycled environments, and here you use some of the stuff that you've seen in the main game, but some of the kind of bespoke stuff that they've created is really nice. Everything's because it's Mr. Freeze, a lot of it's kind of frozen and covered in ice, and all of it's done really well. It feels like a lot of love's gone into this, and it's kind of strange because the game came out ages ago now, and obviously they needed to produce content for the season pass, but it feels like they've actually gone above and beyond a little bit here. Obviously the other stuff was supposedly crap, but this was it's thoroughly decent. It's still nowhere near as good as the Rocksteady Batman stuff, and as was Origins. But just as Origins was fine, this is fine, but done in a tighter way. I'm kind of done with the Predator sections of these games, especially they need more options. There's swinging between the things. It's kind of tedious. There are a few sections here where you have to take down a lot of guys as well. I think those levels were far better designed in the Rocksteady games, with far more obvious ways to take baddies out. Here it just feels like most of the time you're just having to sort of get one on his own and glide kick him, then jump back up to the roof. It doesn't really have the same amount of options available as it should do, and that can get a bit boring. But the standard baddie fighting, the free flow combat or whatever it's called is tighter here than it was in the main game. Definitely, I wasn't having as many issues with it, and obviously when that flows, it is fun. You get a new suit in the second half of the game called the EX suit, which is basically you look really weird. You're really chunky like a Gears of War guy, but it gives you thermal gloves, which you can obviously use to smash the ice. It doesn't make a massive amount of difference to the combat, but it does allow for a slightly different... it's like the shock gloves, but it works slightly differently, the shock gloves from Origins. And yeah, there's a few little side quests in there as well, which are done quite nicely. A few little like detective mode bits, which are kind of pointless, but kind of cool at the same time. And a really decent effort actually, kind of out of nowhere. A thoroughly decent piece of DLC. So if you do still have Origins, it costs... it was £8 on PC. I assume it's the same price on consoles. And it's actually worth playing, I'd say. Definitely worth playing.
Cool. Okay. I'm kind of. How does it compare to the only story DLC from
the Harley Quinn's Revenge?
The one.
It's better.
That's right.
It's better than that. Yeah, it's definitely better than that. It's longer. It's more complete. It feels like its own episode. It's a lot longer. It's just better. Yeah. That had some cool stuff with Robin and his different gadgets and things, but this is overall better, I'd say.
Fuck. Because I know that Harley Quinn's Revenge was only 2 hours long, but it was 2 hours of Rocksteady. And as like you, as okay as I thought Origins was, just twice as much.
But it's better. It's better. I'm this is probably the best level in Origins, if that makes any sense. Yeah, it definitely is. Right. I mean, it kind of recycles a boss from Arkham City at the end, which I think it's fairly obvious which one, but this is. It feels like they kind of. There was one level in Origins where you go into the Joker's thing and he's made like kind of roller coaster, which is really good. This is kind of almost to that level, with slightly less ambition in terms of the art design, but. I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be wank when I put it on, to be honest. And apart of obviously the game progress bug was a killer, and I have to mention it. But hopefully other people won't have it. Certainly the guy on YouTube didn't have it, so we'll see. Maybe it's only a PC thing. Maybe it was just a weird one-off.
That reminds me of the bug that I got to on the first part of Burial at Sea on Bioshock Infinite, when I just couldn't progress past the door because I couldn't open it, and I did the same thing. I think. Did I have to go back? I think I might have had to restart if I recall correctly, which I almost certainly don't. But yeah, just randomly a door wouldn't open, which sucks. But okay, all right, that sounds interesting. I might check that out.
It is good. I mean, and that new Batman is supposed to be incredible. So from what I hear, the new Rocksteady one.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I must say a little bit, although it's just been delayed.
I didn't hear that.
I think it was a rumour, so don't listen to me. As usual, when I'm talking is nonsense. But anyway, yes, thank you very much for listening. We are on Twitter. No, we're not. Yes, we are. We are on Twitter. John and Chet Roy, Chet and John's. We're on Facebook. Don't bother. We're on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel at Chet and John. Especially if you're one of those weird people that like watching other people play video games, which is something I don't understand. But on the off chance, I've put a couple of games of me playing Titanfall up, which are quite good, sort of, I guess, if watching shit is your bag. I don't know why it is. But anyway, yeah, that's it. We'll be back next week. Are you back?
No, but you and Dave Turner's next week.
Formerly of Joypod infamy, yes, Dave Turner. But yes, thank you very much for listening. Hopefully see you next week.
Thank you. Goodbye.
coming out of your engine. Looks like it's falling.
What's falling?
Well, it looks like you got sparks and shit coming out of your engine now.
Okay. Bulldog? Okay, I'm having a more serious problem now, okay?
And it was tragic, really. He exploded on stage.
Just like that.
He just went up. He just was like a flash of green light, and that was it. Nothing was left.
Look at his face.
Well, there was.
It's true. This really did happen.
There was a little green globule on his drum seat.
It's like a stain, really.
It was more of a stain than a globule, actually. And
dozens of people spontaneously combust each year. It's just not really widely reported.
Right.